Burke, we've lost contact with the colony on LV-426. Take Gorman and his team to investigate.
Hey guys, how's it going? So I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm excited for Alien Isolation. And before we get into the video, what you're watching in the background is what I consider to be the last great Aliens game. So the last video game based on the Alien franchise, or the Aliens franchise, and that is Alien Trilogy, which is all the way back from 1996. Obviously we had Aliens Colonial Marines last year, and that was absolutely terrible. But before that, you have to go quite a fair bit back to find an Aliens game, and even further to find a good one. Now, the reason why I think this is a really good game is Alien Trilogy, for me, was the closest to the source material and the tone of the films. So Alien Trilogy came out in 1996, it was for the PlayStation, it was also for the Saturn. I originally played it for the Saturn back in the day because I didn't have a PlayStation, and I thought it was absolutely amazing back then. And I picked it up recently and started playing it again on PS1, and it is a lot better on PS1. The PS1 does a whole bunch of interesting stuff with lighting, which really adds to the atmosphere of the game, and that's something that the Saturn version didn't have. I know that the graphics probably don't look like much now. That's one of the things that's definitely dated quite badly about the game, is the visuals. But the audio and the atmosphere is still really, really top notch. And even though the aliens look like giant pixelated messes, it's still possible to get a bit of a jump scare every now and then if you enter into a dark area and something comes out from behind you or whatever, or a facehugger grabs you and you weren't expecting it. From a gameplay standpoint, this game's dated quite badly as well. It falls under the category of a Doom clone. So the controls in this game are pretty bad. There's no analog, it's just D-pad, and you've got actual buttons for strafing, so it is a bit clunky in that regard. But I think what it does really well is the level design, and like I said, the audio and the tone of the game is really feels authentic to the Alien franchise. And if you're a big fan of the films, there's a lot of little details and things that you'll see in this and really appreciate. Alien Resurrection is also another contender for one of the best previous Aliens games, and the only reason I don't rank it higher than Alien Trilogy is that it's based on my least favorite film in the franchise, and although it does a lot of things right, I think it's ahead of its time in a couple of ways. Like in the control scheme, it was actually one of the first games to use dual analog sticks, which at the time everybody said was awful, but now it's kind of an industry standard for first-person shooters, which is quite funny. But it definitely doesn't have the same atmosphere or feeling that Alien Trilogy does, at least for me anyway. So it's been a really long time in between good Aliens games. I'm a massive, massive fan of the original film. So one of the reasons I'm excited about this game is it looks like the developers have stuck really close to the source material. If you look at all the screenshots, the interiors of the spaceships are heavily based on the film. I mean, looking at the screenshots, it looks like you're looking at pictures from the film. It's quite amazing the level of detail that they've gone to. I even like how they've stayed true to the lo-fi tech that was from the original film. So obviously the original Alien movie was made back in the 70s. So all the technology is based on old CRT monitors and all this analog stuff, and it's nice that the developer hasn't decided to throw all that out and gone with a more contemporary futuristic look and stayed with that lo-fi tech. I think that's really cool. I really like the idea behind the story as well. It sounds really interesting, and it's a story arc that hasn't been explored in the Aliens universe before. So playing as Ripley's daughter Amanda, which is this character that was introduced to us in the second movie, who we only sort of briefly get to know about, who sort of, you know, lived and then died. We never meet her. So I think this is really interesting, and there's a lot of possibilities with this character. From a gameplay standpoint, it has been a long time since I've played through a survival horror game. I used to love the Resident Evil games back in the day. I played Parasite Eve, and I think I played the original Silent Hill perhaps. Obviously I played through the Silent Hill demo or the playable teaser recently, and that was terrifying. So I'm looking forward to playing through this. I don't think it will be the same kind of scary as the Silent Hill demo. I think it's going to be less psychological and more sort of the unknown creature stalking you kind of thing, which is still scary, but I don't know, a different kind of scary, if you know what I mean. And apparently the alien's behavior is completely dynamic, so no one will have the same playthrough experience because the alien behaves in different ways, and it will behave specifically to what you're doing and what's happening in the environment. Although this game is presented in the first person, it's not technically a first person shooter. From what I understand, shooting is in it, but it is definitely a last resort, and it's something that you probably don't want to do at all. I think the bulk of the gameplay revolves around puzzles and crafting items and trying to figure out different strategies for evading the alien. So I think there are multiple ways to tackle objectives, so I really like this kind of idea that the game will never be the same, so you could play through it multiple times and it will be different every time. The other thing that sounds really cool about this game, and is one of the things that got me super excited, is the DLC that they've announced for it. So they got the original cast back, they got got Sigourney Weaver and all the other cast members. Actually, I think they got everybody back except the guy who played Ash, which is Ian Holm, if I'm not wrong. So everybody else came back and they recorded new dialogue, and there's a sort of what-if scenario where you tackle the scene from the movie where you're trying to flush the alien out of the air vents into an airlock and then, I guess, blow it out of the airlock. The other DLC tackles the final stages of the first movie where you play as Ripley and you're trying to blow up the Nostromo while the alien stalks you, so that sounds really, really exciting. Just to be able to play that section of the movie sounds amazing. So unfortunately there are a couple of things we need to be wary of with Isolation, and the big obvious one is Aliens Colonial Marines. That looked amazing. All the gameplay footage that we'd seen beforehand at various conferences, and you know, Randy Pitchford talking through the gameplay, it just looked incredible, and everybody at that point was like, there's no way this game is going to be bad, it looks awesome. And then when we got the game, it was a complete mess, and it didn't look anything like those initial demos that we saw. On one hand, Isolation looks absolutely amazing, and then on the other hand, there are so many scary parallels between Colonial Marines and Isolation. So I'm really, really hoping that Isolation turns out to be as good as what it's looking like it will be. But time will tell, and I guess we're not that far away from its release date. Fingers crossed. If it is good, I'll definitely pick it up, and maybe I'll do another scary playthrough with a face cam if you guys are interested in that. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Alien Isolation and my hopes that the game is good. Let me know if you guys are interested for this game, or if you're not. Let me know if you've played Alien Trilogy, or if you have another particular Alien game which you think is the best last Aliens game released. I'd definitely like to check out any recommendations that you have. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.